Okay, guys, let's talk about the core high ticket funnels that I would recommend that you use. You got one funnel with one outcome. A big mistake that I see a lot of coaches, consultants making is they're trying to solve too many problems all at the same time and just creates a lot of confusion. So you want to create clarity. And the way that you do that is by creating a very systematic flow of information. It's why I recommend sending people straight to a funnel rather than straight to your website. So we take this for granted. This might seem like a no-brainer to you, but you'd be amazed the number of people, number of businesses who are running ads to their main website that has their full menu on it where people can get lost. They can start going down rabbit holes of information and they never end up taking the action that you want them to. Sending people to your main website, like at a bottom of funnel retargeting strategy, sure, that's okay. And we'll talk about that. I'm going to walk through these core ones, why I like them. And we've talked about some of them in previous sessions, but then I'm going to get into some actual examples. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I've done, and I'm going to use one coach, one offer, and you can kind of see how I've built these together and how they work together. So the first is opt-in lead capture funnel. Obviously, capture attention. Great for top of funnel. I love these. The VSSL masterclass and webinar funnel. This extends that teaching, allows you to help shift beliefs. I like it because it's one to many. So you can do it one person, present you to many people all at once. I would recommend that you start with live masterclasses, live events before you try to automate something. And if you were to ask me, Ben, what's more effective? Is it a VSL or a webinar? I would say a live webinar or a live masterclass is always going to be more effective than a VSL, always. It's just the problem with that is when they're live, obviously they take a lot of time. So these are great for middle of funnel, can also be for bottom of funnel, but great for middle of funnel. And remember, in the previous lesson, we talked about stages of awareness, right? Middle of funnel means they know who you are, they have an idea a little bit about what you offer, maybe not completely sold yet, or maybe haven't even looked a whole lot. Maybe they just opted into something. Maybe they followed you on social media, but they have a general idea of who you are. And then the application funnel is bottom of funnel. They know who you are. They know what you offer. They just need to see something that provides them a little bit more closure, so to speak. And typically, most of that selling is done in either your email, follow-up nurture, or in your retargeting ads. That's where you're going to see a lot of testimonial, those type of ads, and you're just sending people straight to a calendar. And I'll give you an example. So let's talk about top of funnel. So Laura is a client of mine, and she has a menopause offer where she helps women who are going through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause navigate this process. Opt-in page. This is a very effective lead magnet. It gets a really high opt-in percentage. Nothing really special to it. Okay. And in one of the future trainings, I'm going to talk about copywriting and why things are the way that they are. But very clearly, if someone lands on this page, they understand that it's about menopause. So you shouldn't be capturing people who this doesn't apply to. I'm dialing in on what their pain point is, right? And then I'm giving them kind of it's not your fault, right? Your body's a change. And then we're talking about what they're going to get out of this. And this is just what they get out of it. Why this was created was simply just to solve problems for people and help them. And there's a little bit about Laura and, again, more about what they're going to get out of it. So this is an example of a very top of funnel, broader lead magnet. This wouldn't be something that I would send to people who already know who she is. This would be purely cold traffic. There's another one that we might use for warm traffic, that we do use for warm traffic, but I also use it for cold. And this is kind of a mix. So this is sending people to her free school community. And she's got, 50,000 plus women in this community. This is kind of her way, her method, and it works really, really well. But it works well for us top of funnel and a little middle funnel because they have a general idea of who she is, or they're farther along. The ads talk a lot more about that they're seeking out solutions with menopause, and this community and the menopause lab is the mechanism, right? It's the name of the community. It's just giving them an environment where they can take that next step, right? So it's not a course, although there is information in there, right? But it's really more about the support and then, just very simple opt-in page. So that's top of funnel. Then middle of funnel, we will send people to a symptom reduction workshop, how to, reduce menopause symptoms in 10 days. And something that's very important, you'll hear me talk about this in other trainings, congruency. So our ads are talking about menopause symptoms and specific symptoms, and everything that we're talking about is around the struggle with symptoms. The retargeting talks about, it's just a replay of a masterclass that's 30 something minutes long. And it's just a recording of a webinar that we did. And it's just a very simple page, but it's designed to book a call. But this is going to people who have opted in to her school community, their leads, they're people who follow her on social media, pure middle of funnel that we drive here. And what we're looking for is a self-booking. Okay. Now, understand that we're also driving people here with things like email nurture, the follow up automated emails that they get. We're driving people there. Any AI automation, the social inbox, we might be sending people there as well. Okay. So it's not just ads. And the reason that I'm pointing this out is because some of you who are doing organic only don't think you need to use middle of funnel strategies. You do, right? So let's just say you're messaging people and you've had a back and forth conversation messaging with them. They joined your free school community, let's say, or let's say that they joined Laura's lab. Okay, they're in the lab, but they haven't bought yet. We will do things like 2 steps or right here. So this would be a reactivation strategy. So this would be a middle of funnel strategy. We would do a 2-step, say, hey, Lisa, we just came out with this brand new symptom reduction workshop. It's a replay of a masterclass we just did. It got a great results. Would you like to see it? Let me know. Reply back, yes. And we'll have an automation when they reply back that will automatically send this to them. And then the messengers and the setters might pick up the conversation from there. But that's a real life example of the flow working organically. It's not just paid ads. So that's middle of funnel, right? Here's another one. This is a webinar that we had her do, all about the same kind of thing, right? It's just a different, this one's about the meadow belly, the same concept. But I'm just showing you this actually we turned into an automated webinar, which again, middle of funnel. This could be another 2-step that we use down the road, meaning we could send it out to the email list, the text list. We could put it on social. She could do content about this and say, hey, if you want it, comment Menno Belly down below and we'll send you the replay or we're doing a webinar and she could send them here, right? So this is a middle of funnel strategy. Next would be the application funnel. We have some ads that will just send them straight to her. This is just the free consultation link on her main website. These are people who have been on the list for a while. They've engaged multiple times. They're a warm, hot lead, hot prospect. We have other ones we'll just send straight to a calendar, right? And just retargeting them. And again, it doesn't have to be just from ads, although we will do this from ads. It will also be in messaging conversations. And so what's important for you to understand is that there are phases of this process that all work together. Laura doesn't specifically use a VSL funnel. Instead, we use the top of funnel strategies to capture leads. She gets a very good cost per lead, gets a lot of people to opt in. And then we use the retargeting and the activity inside the ecosystem. So she's got courses in there. She does email marketing. We have SMS. We have auto webinars. We have AI automation. And then her team does a lot of stuff manually as well in the system to engage the people who have opted in to convert, right? And this is the ultimate thing. When you talk about a funnel is not just a website. A funnel has a purpose. So all of the lead magnets, everything that we roll out, it has a purpose to funnel people through this process and get them on to the next step. So there you go. Those are the core funnels. That's how I would recommend stacking them in the ecosystem, right? Each funnel is a tool in the bigger machine, right? Not Frankenstein, where you're piecing things together and making this awful mess of things. And that's where most coaches, consultants struggle, is they're disconnect. They have their organic and their paid traffic completely disconnected. There's no rhyme or reason to it, right? And when they try to do reactivation things, they send out an email to something, oh, I'm doing a webinar. Okay. But what's going to be the process from there, right? So when someone opts into a webinar, do you have retargeting that goes back to the people who didn't show up for that? Do you have retargeting emails and texts and automations? And do you have retargeting ads? There's a lot more that goes into it, right? And so that's what I think too many people look at these as separate things when, as you can see, they all work together. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next lesson.